I moved out to the countryside, and there's no internet out here. Like, very little. I've got this cell phone data that in no way is fast enough to live stream. So, whatever. I was at the butcher shop, the local butcher shop in the little village here, and I see this, pig's ear, and I'm like, yo, how much for the ear? And 8,000 pesos. It seemed high for a pig's ear. But I was embarrassed, so I took it anyway. And I was like, yeah, give me that. And he's like, fine. But it wasn't just the ear, it was the whole fucking face. And I've been a good boy all this time. I resisted the temptation to wear it. Because I'm making some black beans, and I want to use the ear to flavor the beans. I'm obviously going to freeze the rest. And if you're thinking that's pretty gross, I agree with you. And I'm going to do it anyway. But first I got to do something about how disgusting these ears are. So I talked to Madi Luz. She's like my spirit animal now, because she doesn't, my cleaning lady, right? From Cheeseburger Palace. She doesn't work with me anymore, and she's quite a few hours away, but I call her up whenever I need help with something, like how to clean a pig's ear. And she's like, well, I really wish I could do that for you, because it's delicate and you really gotta clean it, because it's fucking filthy in there. And it is. I mean, look at that. I don't even think I can eat this after looking in its ear. But I'm gonna do something else then. I'm gonna clean it, and then I'm gonna chop it up and freeze it for some other day when I don't have the disgustingness fresh in my head. So anyway, I just, I don't know, should we make some jokes about the poor pig face? I mean, does anybody need a Halloween mask? I'll put it in the freezer for you. It's time to face the flavor. I don't know, this just kind of puts a whole new face on meat consumption. I need more coffee if I'm going to make any more jokes. Okay, so I got some coffee, and I still can't think of any pig face jokes. At some point, though, I am going to have to overcome the squeamishness of the reality of the food that we eat, or I'm going to have to eat something else, because this is farm life, and I'm going to have to leave my delicate city boy ways behind at some point if I'm going to have any hope of progressing here. But what I've decided to do today is take some strips of pork belly from that same pig, I'm pretty sure, who was most likely walking around this morning feeling really good about tomorrow. Anyway, we're going to use that to flavor our black beans. So I've been soaking these black beans overnight, and I'm going to pressure cook them. I'm putting them in this pressure cooker. This is the quick version, right? And I'm going to take this meat and I'm going to cut it. Well, it's mostly fat. It's not really meat. And we're not really going to eat it, I don't think, because it's like a blob of fat with some yucky skin, because we're not going to crisp it up or anything. Its whole job is just to flavor the beans, and it can do that without anybody eating it directly. So that goes in there, and then go ahead, flip the cutting board over to the part that didn't touch any raw meat. All of this is going to get the crap boiled out of it in a pressure cooker for a really long time. And when we're doing the quick version, I just put my aromatics in a blender. Because, well, it's harder that way. And you don't have to worry about how big your chunks are. Now, one thing I did learn when I started blending the aromatics sometimes is you don't need as much garlic, like not even half as much. Because when you blend it, you get tons more flavor out of the garlic. And if you use a full head of garlic like I normally would, it would be quite overpowering, which I don't mind. You know, I don't mind if the food has an overpowering garlic flavor, but it isn't necessary. Half a head of garlic will make it plenty garlicky. I'm using, I guess, a pound of raw black beans that have been soaking overnight. These are called caraotas in Colombia, and Colombians don't usually eat them that much. They eat red beans almost every day. You show them black beans, they're like, what is that? I think Venezuelans eat that. And maybe that's just an Antioquia thing, the part of Colombia where Medellin is. But black beans are consumed a lot more frequently in the Caribbean than they are around here, although they are available almost everywhere. I don't hardly see anybody eating them or looking for them unless they're Venezuelan. Venezuelans have a strong tradition with black beans, kind of potentially similar to the way that Cubans do. And of course, you know, the entire Caribbean, Dominican Republic, Puerto Rico, there's black beans all over the place, everywhere you go. In here, in this blender at the same time, I'm also going to add about that much salt, and I don't have any idea how much that was, but it looks right. And 1 cube of chicken bouillon. And some Cajun seasoning, just because I put that in literally everything. I'm gonna put some water in this. I'm gonna blend it and put it in there, and we're gonna seal it up and make it whistle for about 30 minutes and see what we come up with. So, everything I just chopped up and chucked in here is blended now with water, and the salt level is good, but I might need a little more because it's going to stretch out, but I'm just going to leave it like that. That is fine. And you can see our water level is pretty decent. I don't do a lot of measuring, as you can probably tell, but that looks about right. It's not too dry, so it's not going to burn, and it's not, you know what, I'll put a little more water in it, hold on. There we go. Anyway, we're still a little bit under the max line on the, like there's a max warning line on the inside of the pressure cooker. I think you can just barely see it here. And so we're not overfilling. That's really important. Pressure cookers are dangerous. In case you didn't know, I used to be scared of them, and I still have a lot of respect. My sister burned herself on one when she was little, and of course she was being very careless, and they didn't have the safety features that modern ones have where you literally can't open them if they're hot, but you still want to be careful with them. I mean, they explode, it's really bad. But if you're talking about beans, it cuts your cook time, you know, way down, so it's worth it to learn how to work with one. Okay, so since I don't actually own a stove right now, I got this really shitty hot plate for $7.50. It doesn't get very hot, and I think the reason is because it only goes up to 5. If it went up to 10, I think we'd be, well, that's twice as much, right? Or 11 would be even better, because that's like one more. In about 45 minutes, it'll make this boil. And that'll cause it to start whistling, and then we'll count 30 minutes from then, and we'll most likely have some pretty good black bean soup. Oh shit! I forgot the best part. Wait. All right, so the local butcher also makes these really amazing sausages by hand, and they're actually just fantastic. And what these are going to be is the protein for this soup, and I'm going to take 5 of them. These cost 1,200 Colombian pesos each. I think that's like 30 cents or something. So 10 of them is about $3. And I'm just gonna cut them into chunks and toss them in there. And they're gonna cook along with the beans as well. And wondering why I'm doing all this, it's because I haven't been able to work and I have no income, and so I've got to find really inexpensive ways to do everything, including eat. There we go. Now we're ready to make it whistle. Well, look at that. It's only been like 40 minutes. Come on, Betsy. You can do it. 5 ought to be enough for anybody. The hot plate's name is Betsy now. All right, so let's see if Betsy wants to make some rice for us, since we're using the rice maker for something else. We're not going to use that rice maker to make rice anyway. It's too big. Come on, Betsy. We know you can do it. We wouldn't waste perfectly good salt on you if you couldn't. You can do what? 4.5? Oh, come on. You can do better than that. Let's do 5. We got to put everything we got into it, Betsy, even if it's only 5. Okay, so I am going to declare this piece of pork titty cooked. You got this, Betsy. Who's a good girl? Who's a good girl? Is it you, Jessica? I think it's Jessica, but it might be Betsy. Let's see how the rice comes out. All right, so the whole situation actually came out really good. Not the rice, though. Betsy, you screwed up. Jessica was definitely the good girl. But anyway, no. I am really happy with this, and it tastes delicious.